Binta, I want to put up Binta's question. So, in your opinion, is there any benefit to cold applying to roles online as opposed to with a warm intro or referral?
Ooh. I see Dave has joined the chat and he just did a post about this the other day.
Oh,
Dave
hey,
Hoffa. Yeah.
cool. Dave, I wish we could pull you into this conversation right now. So, I mean, I really feel strongly, like I will get on my soapbox and fall on my sword on this one, but the warm intro and referrals are so important, especially in a market that's a little wonky right now. It's still not 2022, right? That was like, oh, everybody's got 7 offers and everybody gets the process in 2 weeks. So I think because there is so much signal to noise ratio, like I'm hearing it from hiring managers across the board, we do not have time to go through all these resumes that we're getting. Like they post a role, they're completely inundated. There's still a lot of people that are out of work or looking to change jobs right now. So being that golden needle in the haystack by having somebody who's a known quantity to the hiring manager, putting that resume in their hands is great. And you can build your own warm intro and referrals. Like you don't have to wait for it. Like if you, like I always say, go to the company that you want to apply for a role, see who you know at the company, and have them try. Like sometimes they get an internal referral bonus if you actually get placed. So they're motivated sometimes to send you, like to pass you along inside. You'll usually be seen. You'll at least be considered as opposed to maybe being lost in a huge pile of stuff. I mean, the only benefit that I could think of would be like, oh, you can just like paper your resume all over town. Like you can, the intro referral is a much more targeted, low volume approach. So cold applying is high volume, but I think high volume with 0 results, it doesn't matter. I think it just lulls you into this false sense of complacency. Like, oh, I'm working really hard. I have a lot of stuff out there. And why aren't I hearing anything back? It's like, well, we call that the spray and pray.
Yeah.
But I think you have to also, but you have to be able to control that too, like the narrative. So if you're going through somebody, like you need to get confirmation that they have sent your name in. Because if you have just, sort of done like this, hey, can you send me in for this? Or do you know anyone in this department? Like they're working too. So they're a little bit less motivated unless maybe there's an incentive. But even if there's an incentive, it's still really hard to track it on your behalf when they're not involved. So you have to like somehow say, hey, can you just confirm that you've sent this over, like the name of the person you sent it to, so I can follow up, and then you can just like remove yourself. That's what I think. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah, follow-up is so important. Even with us recruiters, like following up, like I think a lot of people, especially if they're earlier in their careers and maybe don't have that confidence yet, they're like, oh, am I bothering them? Like, am I being a pest? No, you're not. Like following up is a kindness. You're like, people want to fill their roles. Like we want to fill our clients' roles. Our clients want to fill their roles. And if you just happen to get lost in the shuffle, but you actually would be a great fit for them, you're not doing them a service at all by remaining quiet. Like, oh, maybe they'll find my stuff buried in a pile of resumes. Like, I think it's great deal. Like to a point, like you don't want to check in every week for 8 weeks in a row, but I would check in a week, maybe after you, to Erica's point, like after you send your information to somebody that can refer you, check in a week. Did you hear back from them? Did you send my stuff in? Just getting it on their radar because they might have just honestly forgotten, but wanted to help you. I think people usually want to help people too.
I think what I always like to remind people is that, and I think I've probably said this before, everyone has their own to-do list of the day. So your to-do list of sort of follow-ups comes onto my page when I'm like deep in sourcing mode or something. So they just may not align and I'll get back to you later. I think maybe we can agree that I think that like the 3 p.m. hour is usually when I get responses from clients because they've like completed their daily tasks, their work, and then they're kind of wrapping up, going through things that they need to respond to, feeling like, oh my God, I have to respond to these people, and then like leaving for the day. I usually feel like the afternoons are when like the responses start coming out personally. But yeah, I think that like just message us, like remind us. Honestly, I think LinkedIn messages, we all read them, sure. I like to unread them so I know to respond to them later. it's just, that's how my brain works. And I know I should be better. I know everyone needs to be better at responding in the moment if you have a second, but if you, it's like a longer response that you need to say, like I like to sort of think about it before I get back to you. So just follow up, because I could be in transit, I could be running to catch a flight and then totally forget to message you back.
And then Dave Hoffer, who was our esteemed guest about a month and a half ago. It's a wonderful design leader. Everybody go check him out. So he said he wrote a piece on this. So so this is about personal referrals and warm introductions. And a former colleague of mine from McKinsey also wrote about this. The link has both posts plus Lucy has substantive references for further reading. So you guys can check that out in the chat as well and click on that link.
Highly encourage. Yes.
I wanted to give a really gold mine piece of like sourcing or search advice. Like,
get my pen out. I'm going to write this down.
Advice. I saw this on, I can't take credit for this. I saw some other recruiter somewhere in the world say this, but if you have gone to school for an undergrad degree, a grad degree, a certificate degree, and you have that on your page. So let's say, for example, I went to Syracuse University. I can go to LinkedIn, to the Syracuse University page. There is an alumni tab on there. And you can go into there. And then it's like a whole search within just Syracuse, okay? Mm-hmm. So the connection for me is like, hey, we both went to Syracuse. Like, you know, maybe we had the same professors. We majored in the same thing. We lived in the same dorm, like some type of a connecting silly thing. But you can search within the alumni, like head of design, CEO, founder, you know, CMO, whoever you're trying to reach, and then you can also search by location of somebody. If you're in the same city as them, you can then also search by company. So if you're really interested in working for Asana, I don't know why I keep saying that one is my like thing, but if you want to go to Asana, then you might find people from Syracuse who are not necessarily in design, but they work there. So it's kind of like a little closer connection. It will change your life, truly. If you have, like, honestly, it's a whole different type of world out there.